Hello everyone and welcome back to Phasmophobia. This video is going to cover the basics of ghost behavior in the game and briefly go over some mechanics you should know to help you be successful in your missions. This will be a great starting place for anyone who has just started playing the game. First of all, do the tutorial. It provides you with the information you need to understand the basic goals of the game and what you should be looking for, so I highly recommend playing through that before anything else. When you load into an investigation, you'll need to grab the key on the hook in the van to open up the map. In some maps, there will be another key inside the front door that can be used to disable the car alarm if the ghost sets it off. Once the key is picked up, it will be displayed in the journal and all players can use that key. Each map by default will have one of 7 possible cursed items loaded into it. They will always spawn in their own respective spots, so you can learn where those are for each map to find them quickly. However, using cursed items is risky and can potentially cause the ghost to hunt much sooner. To learn more about the cursed items and what they do, I have a full series of videos dedicated to them, and we'll link those in the description below. A bone will also spawn on every map and can basically show up anywhere, but it is supposedly limited to the areas where the ghost can physically walk. It will vary what type of bone it can be, and sometimes it unfortunately spawns in impossible locations where players can't reach it or even see it. You can pick up this bone to get some extra money at the end of the investigation. The main objective in the game is obviously to figure out the type of ghost in the map, but you will also be given 3 side objectives. Completing the side objectives will give you additional money and experience, and it will make it possible for you to get a perfect game. A perfect game is achieved when you get the ghost type correct, complete all side objectives, take all 3-star photos in your journal, and pick up the bone. The photos can be of anything, and getting a perfect game will give you an extra monetary reward at the end of the investigation. All ghosts in the game have a physical presence, meaning they are walking around the map and causing interactions. Wherever things are happening, that is where your ghost will be. It will have a favorite room where it prefers to spend most of its time and do the most amount of interactions, though the ghost can roam away from this room and change to a different favorite room during your investigation. Setting up gear in the ghost's favorite room will help you find evidence consistently. Each ghost has 3 pieces of evidence assigned to it, and the amount it shows will depend on your difficulty. If you ever think you have 4 pieces of evidence on an investigation, you either have something wrong, or you are being tricked by a mimic, which shows fake ghost orbs in addition to its actual 3 pieces of evidence. If you're playing on higher difficulties, evidences can be hidden so that you will only get 1 or 2 pieces of evidence, but you cannot eliminate evidences as possibilities because you never know what will be hidden. Some ghosts will have forced evidences that will always show up with that type, even if you have just 1 piece of evidence available. If you are ever playing with 0 evidence, the only evidence you can technically find would be the ghost orbs for the mimic, which are in fact not actual evidence. There are several different ways you can go about figuring out the ghost's favorite room, but my personal favorite ways will vary slightly based on the size of the map. For small maps, I like taking in an EMF to start off with. If you want to figure out the ghost room as quickly as possible, you can take in a thermometer right off the bat. Go into the map and listen for interactions. Once you hear interactions, you can use your EMF to confirm what has been interacted with. The activity will generally happen in and around one room unless you get a particularly roamy ghost, so this should be your area of focus. Once you have your area of focus, pull out your thermometer and find a room that is significantly colder than other areas. This will, in most cases, be the ghost's favorite room. Just keep in mind that the cold spot will technically move around with a ghost, so there is a chance the cold spot may show up outside the true favorite room. However, more times than not, the cold spot will show you the room you will want to put your gear down in. Sometimes the cold spot can take a while to show itself, so keep checking until you find it. You will also be able to see your breath if a room gets cold enough, so that can also help you figure out the ghost's favorite room. An important thing to note is that ghosts can interact with things through the walls, so if you're getting throws in multiple rooms in the same general area, you may have a ghost that is in a room in the epicenter of that activity. Again, using your thermometer to scout out the area will generally be your fastest and most reliable way to figure out the favorite room. On large maps, I like to do basically the same process, but I will usually swap out the thermometer with a parabolic microphone. Since the paramic will hear sounds from further distances, it can help you narrow in on the general area of the ghost a lot faster than just wandering around listening for nearby interactions. However, the process of walking around, listening for interactions, and then checking for cold spots is the same. In addition to this, I also like to close doors as I go so that if I need to come back through the area, there is a chance a door I closed will have then been opened by the ghost at some point, and I will then know the area it is in. Just remember that the paramic will also play ambient noises from the map, so learning what to pay attention to might take some time. In general, you'll only want to pay attention to whispers like this, or for things that are clearly interactions like throws, door touches, or light switches toggling. Anything else you hear is probably not related to the ghost at all. Since the ghost is a physical entity, you will get most evidence only when you are close to it. Spirit box, ultraviolet, freezing temps, dots, ghost writing, and EMF will only happen wherever the ghost is at that exact moment. Ghost orbs are the one exception, as those will stay behind in the ghost's favorite room regardless of whether or not the ghost is actively roaming at that time. Thus, taking in a video camera when you have a general idea of the area the ghost is in can help you confirm the ghost's favorite room if you get lucky and have a ghost with orbs. Finding evidence can take time, especially if you are just starting out with the Tier 1 equipment. This equipment is designed to be harder to use and less reliable, so be patient and take your time using it. I do have videos going into detail about how the gear works on my channel, and I will link them in the description below. All ghosts will have ways to identify them without using evidence, so you can slowly start to learn what to look for as you start to play. However, I do recommend not overwhelming yourself with all the different tells right off the bat. This can make the game seem very confusing, and it would be more beneficial in the long run to fine-tune collecting evidence and getting used to the game mechanics. Once you feel you have a grasp on the basics, then you can start to learn about the ghost special abilities. Ghost events can occur when players are in the map and are within a certain range of the ghost. If a player is within that range, the ghost will teleport to a location nearby you or a teammate to perform the event. The event will be a moment where the ghost manifests in some way to terrorize players, but will not be able to kill you. Ghosts can only kill you when they initiate a hunt. When a hunt starts, the front door will close and lock for the duration of the hunt. If the ghost finds you during the hunt, it will be able to kill you if you do not have a smudge stick ready to protect yourself. Ghost hunting speeds will vary, though this is what a normal speed ghost sounds like. Most ghosts will get faster in line of sight of players, but will reach max speed if in sight for long enough. Different ghost types will all have a certain range in which they will be able to start hunting, though the normal and most common range is after 50% average team sanity. Some ghosts will vary and either be able to hunt earlier or won't be able to hunt until later. Light switches cannot be toggled until the hunt is over, so that is a great way to tell if it has ended if you are not close enough to the ghost to hear it. If you have any lights on during the hunt, they will turn off once the hunt has ended as well. There are different hiding spots throughout the game, and they can range from being behind stacks of boxes and bins to inside tents. One of the most common is inside lockers and closets. When you hide inside of these, I highly recommend holding the door shut. As ghosts walk by, they can have a chance to randomly open the doors, and if they see you when they do this, they will kill you, so holding them shut can help prevent this from happening. Additionally, if you're hiding in a double-door closet, you do not have to worry about having both doors closed at the same time. Just keeping the door in front of you closed should keep you safe. All electronics will glitch when the ghost is nearby during events and hunts. During hunts, if the equipment you are actively holding or your flashlight is glitching, that means the ghost can also sense where you are until you either drop them or turn them off. Ghosts do listen to you during hunts as well if you're using in-game chat, so be sure to either be quiet or enable push-to-talk if you don't want to be found in hiding spots. Figuring out hiding spots on all the maps will make it easier to survive your investigations, but hiding spots will mean nothing if the ghost sees you go into them, or senses your electronics, or hears you talking from within the hiding spot. One of the most important mechanics in the game is sanity. When you have high sanity, ghosts are generally less active and less dangerous. Your sanity starts draining once you are in the map and will drain based on how much time you have spent in the dark and by ghosts hitting you with events. There are even some ghosts who have special abilities to take away your sanity more quickly than others. Sanity does not drain when you leave the map and return to the van. You can prevent your sanity from draining by staying in the light, carrying candles, and running away from ghost events. If you are playing on multiplayer and someone is killed during a hunt, all players who are inside the map will lose 15% sanity immediately. Consider it being traumatized by watching your friends being brutally murdered. Every map will have a breaker box or a generator spawned in one of several different possible locations, so make sure to find it. At any point, most ghosts can disable the breaker, meaning your sanity will start dropping more rapidly in the dark and the area will start getting colder. Players can also trip the breaker by turning on too many lights, so make sure to turn off any lights you are not actively using. If you go to get the breaker back on and all of the lights are now off, that means the breaker was tripped by players and not turned off by the ghost. If you get the breaker back on and the lights that had been previously turned on are still on, that means the ghost did turn it off. This is just some brief information on the basic mechanics you should know about the game, and I do have more videos going into a lot more detail about specific mechanics on my channel for you to watch as well. Hopefully, this gives you a good starting point in the game. If you found this guide useful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for future Phasmophobia and horror game content. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me, and happy hunting out there.